What's up guys, Magic Knives here, and in this video bringing to you some Modern Warfare 3 gameplay, mostly some knifing, particularly towards the second half, because I realized that with this map and it just was so easy to just run around and slice people up with the dual Kodachis and with the throwing knife. So even though I start this game with the Mark 46, or at least what it's basically modded to as a Mark 46 LMG, and then I even used the MP7 for a little bit. I'm like, you know what, these enemies are just not that great, so let me just run around with go knife only, or at least just knife the rest of the game. And I wish I could have started in the beginning, because honestly I feel like I could have gone 50 plus kills in this gameplay if I had started with that, because this was the best lobby and best map setup to really do that. And like, look at that, like I really should have died there. Somehow the person's aim was just so bad, they just did not, like, I somehow still got the kill on them. But yeah, hopefully enjoy the gameplay in the background. With that said, I go pretty high in this, as you will find out very soon. I decided in this video, I do want to talk about just my experience so far with being an armed security guard, working with Brink specifically, and just one of the divisions that you could very likely be trained to do within the armored truck industry. Or the cash in transit industry, in this case ATM training. And this is, as the title speaks for itself, learning how to replenish ATMs, as well as just picking up money from certain like machines that where you deposit money. So obviously there's going to be some like certain security procedures that I can't go into too much detail in this video, just because it's security, but I will give you kind of the general basis of how things are. But the one thing you should know right off the bat is because you are dealing with technology, if you're like me, I'm better dealing with people than technology, but the number one thing that helps is just taking notes as much as you can. That way you have all the different passwords and codes. That way you're not having to I guess go through it too much when you're trying to break down how to get inside the machine. So just taking all the notes, because all the machines have different, especially depending on the company, it will be the variants on their login and procedures, so all the buttons are different as well. If you're lucky enough just to be doing the same machine over and over again, especially if you do like the night ATM, which I'm not trained on, but it's essentially the same thing, but just there's more stuff going on, quite frankly. So I'm not gonna go into that specifically, but generally speaking, if you're doing night ATM, you're doing all the bank branches, which in my case, it's pretty much all RBC, Royal Bank of Canada. But if you're like whatever company you work for, you're gonna be doing different. I'm sure you're gonna be doing multiple bank branches and stuff like that, just depending on the company. And in that case, you're not only doing the ATM, but you're also dropping off money for them, and you also obviously have to worry about alarm codes and stuff, because you're going in during their after hours and stuff like that. But at least as far as the day ATMs, is just, you know, always taking your time, because you are dealing with money, and you either have to calculate the number of bill counts that you are putting into the machine, because with most ATMs there's going to be cassettes, or pretty much all of them that are going to have cassettes essentially, which after you punch in your secret codes, into the machine and you open it, you'll get a certain set of keys for yourself, but you'll also, depending on the run, you'll get a set of keys to open up said machines. But after you punch in the codes with the help of the keys and comms, as it's called, you'll eventually do the math, because there is a bit of math involved. So you do have to practice a little bit of basic math, not just with the combinations, but obviously just with the total value that you have to input into the machine, because some machines you input the total number of bills, which does make it a little bit more confusing, because depending on the size of bill stacks you get, you either have to, because most of the times you're working with $20 bills, at least in Canada, so you're just gonna have to practice a bit of math and multiplication, because depending on the size of the cash stack you're dealing with, you just have to be able to make sure it all matches. You type it into the machine, and then from there you take your time with swapping out the old cash inside the ATM and filling in the new fresh set of cash in there. So I will also say as well, just you should never rush this, because in the end you're always going to have a guard with you. They should be with you to watch your back, and just don't let anybody get too close, because obviously you need the space and you don't want anybody taking the chance of even thinking about trying to do something not good, because unfortunately you are dealing with loose cash, and it's just something you have to be very wary about, naturally, with this job, because especially with how hard times are, people are desperate, and criminals are getting more and more bold, and they are starting to rob in the daytime, and unfortunately they are not afraid to rob armed guards either, unfortunately, as of lately. So there's that. And I will also say that if you're gonna be doing this job, if you're gonna get ATM trained, everyone's different, but I will say having a good set of knee pads is a good idea too, especially because pretty much all the time, you're gonna have to be bending down or kneeling down, just because the lock itself is always pretty low. So unless you're really short, or your knees are like tough as steel, like, it's a good idea to get a good set of knee pads, which you can probably wear on the inside of your pants, and you won't have to worry about people seeing it. But that's one big tip I will give as well in that regard. So if you have questions, let me know down in the comments below. Again, I'm still pretty fresh on this, but hopefully this just gives you an idea or heads up of what to expect if you're going to get ATM trained within the armed security / armored truck industry. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Take it easy. Peace out.